Hi everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to paint this cute little garden. This is a wet on wet loose paint technique. It is on Strathmore paper. This is 140 pound. I save all these little pieces after I cut off a big piece that I need just to do little projects like this. These are super simple if you're wanting to doodle a watercolor. It doesn't take us very long. I'm using arteza watercolor paints. I buy the tube paint. You can use anything for this. Today we're going to use pear green, orange yellow, pale yellow, lilac, blush pink, rose, and lavender. In this one, I used a mauve instead of the lavender, and it's kind of, it's not as transparent, so it kind of covered up my ink a little bit, so I switched it to the lavender. I'm using my Micron pen because this is a very waterproof pen. I just have some basic, this is like in the kids section of the art store. I needed some El Cheapo brushes for using with some glue that I had, and I kind of like the point on this one. Just grab this one because I want you to know that you do not have to have fancy. I buy these Nick Pro round on Amazon. They come in a big selection. They're also really good pencils. Neither one of those. These are paintbrushes. I like the fine points on these, and they do hold a lot of water, so they're good for projects like this where you're going to do loose painting. Another item that I use is my, I'm sorry, I have to dig it out, my paper palettes. I love these things. They come 52 a pack. You can squeeze your paint out on it, and when you're done, you can just toss it. There's no cleanup, which is a great thing for me. It's just a piece of paper, and it has wax on it. For those of you that do the alcohol ink, you might be able to use that paper for alcohol ink. I don't know. I don't play with that stuff. Anyway, or a sheet of wax paper, or a paper plate, styrofoam plate, anything you want to use for your paint palette. But these are really great. I usually have about 30 packs of these on hand. When you're putting if you're using tube paint and you're putting your paint on your paper, oops, I have a little bead of water that's rolling around. You don't want to put much on there. Just teeny little. This does not take very much paint. I've got way too much out here, but I'm going to do 2. So as you can see, the water beads up on that really nicely. So sometimes I just spray some water on there, and then I don't have to use the clean water jar. I can just pick it up off of the thing. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to make a 1-inch edge down here at the bottom. And then I'm going to have 1 inch on either side. That worked really well for that big paper, but I'm not sure I want that much now for this one. So let's move it down a little bit. You can just eyeball your paper and decide where your line's going to be. That looks good. This is absolutely, I just wanted that straight line at the bottom. But this is absolutely not, I got water on my paper, anything technical for this drawing. So we're going to add the grass, and this is that hard. Just make some little jaggy edges down there. I just want a little illustrated idea that there's grass down here. or weeds. If you're looking at my garden, this is the weeds right here. But a lot of them have pretty little flowers, so they get to live there. Okay, there's our grass. Super cute. So we are going to start with this little guy right here in the middle. I think he looks like a crocus, and it's that time of year, so you're going to give him a double stem. Right there. And then his first petal comes right out of his stem. So just give him a nice jagged petal. Just like that. And then you're going to make his little side petals coming out of the bottom there. My other one, I got kind of carried away on one side. So he had a wide bottom. I'll give him some back petals here. And he's a cup type, so you want one in the very back that you just barely see. And then he needs his little bee getters. I call these the bee getters coming out. And we're going to give him some long leaves. And there's your first flower. Our next one, he just gets one, and you can make these all different heights, and it's much cuter if you do. You don't want them all the same. Just give him a little U shape and a little bit of a top there. And he also has one main petal coming out of that. Now you're gonna, for his second one, you're gonna start kind of in the middle of your cup and come up and kind of come at an angle and back down at an angle, and that gives it the cup shape. There. He's cute. Let's give him just some little leaves here. Our next one is going to be a rose style. So you're going to come up with this, and then you need some space here for the cup. So move up a little bit, and you're going to make a swirl, and you want it to kind of be oval, not round, because the way that you're looking at it. So you kind of want to make him oval and then just bring him back. And then all of the sides, you're going to come down and make a big U, just like that. And then over here, let's make a squiggly petal. And he's going to get another squiggly petal. And then you want to make a smaller one coming here and here. And one up the back. And there's your rose. Super cute. And roses have these little individual leaves. So we're gonna and then down here, his little friend is gonna be a daisy. So you're gonna come up and then come up here so you have room for his petals. And we're going to make kind of a black-eyed Susan, I think. And make sure you make this line round so you can come off of it with his droopy petals. Maybe he's a coneflower, I don't know. Let's make a little wild hair over here. And he's going to get these kind of leaves. Let's do one right here that is like a stem, and we're going to make another cup. And then we're going to, it's kind of like this one, but a little different. You're not going to see through all his petals. And he's got lots of beginners up here. And let's give him some, let's do some leaves like that on him. Let's put his like this. Okay. I say we make this the center one, and we're just going to copy this right back down this row. So this one we want to go a little crooked, I guess. My pen just did that. So I guess he wants to kind of be swaying in the wind there. And give him some fluffy leaves. He's going to have a couple of, his are kind of droopy. He's misbehaving today. Okay. And then we're going to do another one of these. Let's make him tall again. Well, I just messed up, but we're just going to go with it. Let's do him. I mean, it's a garden. They don't have any accuracy when they grow. This is our wildflowers, and mine are always wild. Okay, no biggie, we just fixed it. Now we'll do another rose down here. Make a tall cup. These are fun when you do them with your imagination active. They always kind of turn out better. And I want his leaf to come out this way. And then we're going to end it with a daisy. Or I guess these are, I would call these black-eyed Susans. In my garden, they would be a black-eyed Susan. I love, one of my favorite flowers. Okay, there's our little flowers. The more freeform and less stressed flowers you make, the cuter that they are. So now you just want some clean water. We buy our meals through HelloFresh. This is not HelloFresh, and I can't remember the name of it, but this one sends all their sauces in these little containers, and I snag them for my art. So since we just finished this flower way down here, we want to give that ink a little bit of time to dry before we add water to it, or it's just not set yet. So we want to put our water up here because we want our paint to kind of bleed out in it a little bit. Bring it all the way down just under our line there. And you can use whatever brush makes you happy for this. Trying to give that little guy a little bit of time to dry. Okay. Now you want to let that soak in just a minute so that the paper absorbs it, and you can see that the paper is kind of bowing up, and that's what it does, is it absorbs the water. And I'm just going back over, kind of picking up some of this extra, because you don't really want it to be like puddled on there. And if you have it like that, get a dry brush and just go back over it, and it will pick up water. Okay, we're going to start down here with this little guy. And I think I want him to be orange. So you want to get a little bit of paint. Get my paint palette over here where you can. I have such a small amount of space to. Well, you can't really see my paint palette, so I'm just picking up really loose paint here. It's got a lot of water in it, and I'm just gonna give him a little bit of and then I want the one down here the same way. These are going to be my orange ones, and you want it to kind of bleed out a little bit, and it's okay if it goes into the next guy, no big deal. This is a really loose technique. I'm going to let that sit there for a minute, and then we're going to come back in and add a little bit of the rose color to that. His buddy here next to him is going to be yellow, because if it's a black-eyed Susan, it has to be yellow. And this one down here. And it's okay to get messy. We kind of want it to be that way. This one is a rose, so we're going to make it look like a rose. My pink that I have is like the purple I was talking about. It is not as transparent, so I have to use a small amount of it. And my paper is wanting to dry a little bit too fast. So what you can do is just give it a mist with your water bottle, and it'll wet it back. And if that doesn't work, just add some more water in there. Let's do our other rose while we have the pink on there. That orange really travels on the paper. I'm going to go back in and pick up a little bit of paint with a little bit less water, because I want it to be a little bit more orange here. Okay. Let's see, this one right here and this one right here, I'm not sure. I have them purple in the other one. Let's see, we're going to make that middle one lavender, and we'll make the other two purple. I did not get all that orange paint out of my brush. You really should be adding clean water to your paint, but with one like this, I don't really care, because it is a really loose. It's a really dark purple. let's do this one red. Okay, so okay, now we're going to go back in and add a little bit of detail. Well, it's not really even detail in here, I'm just blending a little bit of colors. That red is going to get used in a few. My paper is drying out before I can get it done here. Give it another squirt of water. Just a mist. You'll see some magic happen when you do that. These I don't know what color to stick in there because we'll add a little bit of yellow in here. That's cute. Let's give that red one some purple highlights here. Okay, now we want to do our green. I'm going to wet that green again because it's pretty dry down there. This is all you have to do. Just give it some more water. Oh, look at that. Magic. Okay. A little too much. Okay, now we'll do the green. I love this. This is pear green and it's springy and I really like it, especially with the colors that we have here. Boy, that one just really got a hold of some water and went everywhere, didn't it? It's okay. This is all going to dry lighter. Now, you can leave it like that and let it dry and be finished, or you can clean your brush out and pick up some of your paint colors. You don't want them to be too wet when you do this. You want it to be a little bit. And really, to do this next step, my paper's a little too dry for it, but we're going to do it so I can show you. And you're going to just tap the brush and get just a few little dots in there of your color. And you don't want like huge amounts. And as you can see, those dots are spreading because the paper is so wet. So what you can do is do it this way, and then when your paper is dry, you can come back in and give it a few taps again, and you'll have a few better shaped. Okay, there you go. You can sign your name and let that dry. And you're all done. And you're going to have a cute little garden. Thank you for joining me. I hope that made that easy for you. Who knows what the next one's going to be. I'll think up something good and post a new one in a few days. Thank you.